crisps are supposed to be a simple, salty little treat, but in the UK crisp aisle, simple is now a cover story for oil, salt, and engineered seasoning that keeps your hand going back to the bag. Did you know one of these packs hits 3.73 grams of salt per 100 grams? Another looks light, but spikes to almost 6 grams of saturated fat per 100 grams. These are the 10 worst UK crisp brands you should never buy. Number 10, Kettle Chips Sea Salt and Balsamic Vinegar. The hand-cooked label, the thicker cut, the whole grown-up crisp vibe. It's designed to make you treat it like a normal snack, not what it actually is. A treat crisp with a treat crisp nutrition panel. Because once you look at the label, the posh snack illusion falls apart. For each 100 grams of kettle chips, you're actually consuming 28.9 grams of fat and 1.6 grams of salt. That isn't light or balanced, and the flavour isn't just a clean, simple splash of vinegar either. It's artificially created. When ingredients like maltodextrin, sugar, starch, and citric acid show up, you're not tasting something natural and straightforward. So you crunch, you get that sweet-sour punch, then the salt lands, then the acidic tickle hangs at the back of your jaw like a little hook that keeps pulling you back in. That's how blood pressure can quietly creep up over time. Number 9, Pringles Original. This isn't crisp in the traditional sense, and that's exactly why it belongs here. When you take a bite, the numbers are already in the danger zone diet-wise. For every 100 grams, you're consuming 31 grams of fat and 1 gram of salt. But the real story is the engineering. That identical shape, identical snap, identical melt, you don't get that from potatoes, oil, salt. You get it from dehydrated potatoes and flours, plus things like maltodextrin and emulsifier E471, the signature of a product built for consistency, not simplicity. And the eating experience is the trap. It feels almost clean, almost powdery, which makes it dangerously snackable. Stack, crunch, repeat. No mess, no resistance, no natural stopping point. And when you remove friction from eating, portion control doesn't get harder, it gets deleted. Number 8, Seabrook Sea Salted. Seabrook's whole identity is that thick crinkle-cut crunch, and crinkles are basically oil and salt magnets. One label puts them at around 30.4 grams of fat per 100 grams, with 2.7 grams of saturated fat and 1.3 grams of salt. So, a lot of what you're tasting isn't potato, it's sunflower oil and seasoning doing the work. The first few bites are honestly great because the crunch is thick and satisfying, like you're eating a proper snack. But that's exactly where the trap starts. Those grooves cling to oil, so your fingers go glossy fast and your mouth starts carrying that lingering fried aftertaste. And once your tongue feels coated, you do the thing everyone does. You reach for a drink, and then you reach back in for another crisp to reset your mouth. It's simple sea salt, but it tastes more savoury than you expect because the oil note is doing so much work. People call it proper. And then they eat it like a meal. Number 7, McCoy's Flame Grilled Steak. This is the point where a crisp stops being a simple snack and starts pretending it's a full meal. And the numbers tell you why it feels so heavy. Per 100 grams, you're looking at around 31 grams of fat and 1.5 grams of salt. That's a dense combo in something you can eat way too fast. And in your body, it means calories rack up before you even feel like you've had that much. And the salt hit makes you thirsty straight away. When this becomes routine, it's the kind of habit that can quietly push blood pressure in the wrong direction over time. And the steak part, it's a smoky seasoning illusion built to cling. The ridges trap more oil and flavor dust, so by the end your fingers shine, your mouth feels coated, and the aftertaste hangs around like a seasoning sachet. That lingering finish keeps your brain in one more mode long after the crisp is gone. Number 6, Walker's Ready Salted. Walkers are the nation's default, which is why they're more harmful than people want to. This one's dangerous because it feels like the normal choice, but the label tells a different story. Per 100 grams, you're looking at 31.9 grams of fat, 2.6 grams of saturated fat, and 1.40 grams of salt. And that's a lot of dense energy. And those 2.6 grams of saturated fat don't feel dramatic at first, but they stack up across the week. Then there's the 1.5 4.40 grams of salt, it doesn't just make you thirsty, it slowly recalibrates your palate so regular food starts tasting bland. And the sensory trap is how effortless it is. Thin, crisp, strangely unsatisfying, so you don't stop because you're full, you stop because the bag ends. Number 5, Sainsbury's Ready Salted. This is the one that gets you by looking innocent. Plain bag, plain flavor, plain, it's just a side. And that's exactly why it slips into routine so fast. And here's what you're actually signing up for. About 34 grams of fat per 100 grams, 3.1 grams of saturated fat, and 1 gram of salt. That's not a little side snack. That's a heavy, oily profile hiding behind a plain bag. And once you taste it, you understand how it becomes automatic. You get a quick salty hit up front, a brief potato flavor in the middle, and then it finishes with this soft, slick, oily coating that just doesn't give your brain a stopping point. Nothing spikes, nothing bites back, so you keep reaching in without noticing. There's no vinegar burn, no spice flare, no big flavor peak that makes you pause. It's just easy. So you pair it with a sandwich, you toss it into lunch, you buy it again without thinking. Number 4, Tesco Stockwell and Company Ready Salted. This is value range Moorishness in its cleanest form. Not exciting, not special, just cheap enough to become default. And the label quietly tells you why it disappears so easily. Per 100 grams, you're looking at 33.3 grams of fat, 3 grams of saturated fat, and 0.74 grams of salt. And that last number is exactly where people get fooled. They see not much salt and think, okay, this can't be that bad. But when salt isn't doing the heavy lifting, the fat becomes the engine. It gives you that instant satisfying hit, then leaves you weirdly unsatisfied, like your mouth is full, but your brain never got the stop signal. Taste-wise, it starts with a quick little salt pop, then the potato flavor falls kind of flat and reads more fried than fresh. And after a few bites, you get that heavier, oily mouthfeel that sits on your lips, almost like it's nudging you to take another crisp just to reset your mouth. Number 3, ASDA Just Essentials Ready Salted. If any crisp is built for the race to the bottom aisle, it's this one. It's cheap, it's stacked in multipacks, and it's the kind of product that becomes normal before you even realize it happened. Then you check the label, and suddenly the whole vibe makes sense. Per 100 grams, it's 35 grams of fat, 3.2 grams of saturated fat, and 0.98 grams of salt. And that fat load isn't just a number on paper, you can actually feel it as you eat. The crunch isn't clean and snappy, it's more of a crumbly, break-apart crunch, and the fried, oily character shows up right away, like the oil is doing most of the talking. A few handfuls in, the potato flavor basically disappears, and you're left with the same loop. Salty, fried, salty, fried. It coats your mouth, makes everything feel a bit heavy, and leaves you reaching for a drink, not because it's spicy or sharp, but because it's that dull, greasy kind of thirst. And this is where the budget multipack factor turns it from a snack into a habit. You don't buy one bag, you buy a stack. That's how it becomes the lunchbox crisp, the quick snack, the just something while I work crisp. It doesn't need fancy claims. The price does the seducing and the nutrition follows you quietly. Number 2, Discos Salt and Vinegar. These are the nothing crisps that hit like something. Small, thin, brittle, and basically designed to vanish in your mouth before your brain clocks what just happened. That's why you have to trust the label more than the light vibe. Because per 100 grams, you're not just snacking on air here, you're taking in 30 grams of fat, 5.5 grams of saturated fat, and 1.7 grams of salt. And the sneaky part is the saturates. Discos don't taste rich, and they feel like crunchy confetti, so your brain never gets that natural, okay, that's enough signal, but your body still has to deal with that heavy, saturated fat load. And if it becomes a regular thing, it's the kind of habit that can push heart health in the wrong direction. Then the salt piles on, making you hold on to water and quietly nudging blood pressure up over time. And the moment you bite in, you can feel why it's so easy to keep going. The vinegar hits first, sharp and stingy, like it's trying to wake up every nerve in your mouth. Then the seasoning dust spreads everywhere because the crisp fractures fast, tongue, cheeks, back of throat, and that's when you get that burny mouth tingle and even the dry scrape on your gums if you keep going. Number 1, Lidl Snaktastic Ridged Ready Salted. This crisp doesn't just taste salty, it leaves a salt film on your tongue and a dry pull in your cheeks that practically forces you to reach for a drink, and the label tells you why. A 30-gram bag hits 1.12 grams of salt, which scales to about 3.73 grams of salt per 100 grams. That's not well seasoned. That's a salt payload. Underneath that, it's still an oil-heavy crisp, roughly 30 grams of fat per 100 grams, including about 2.67 grams of saturated fat. The salt is what makes it feel addictive. It cranks your palate towards stronger flavors, nudges thirst, and over time can push blood pressure higher. The ridges amplify everything. More surface area for salt and oil, louder crunch, faster eating, one bite spikes, your brain wants another, and instead of feeling satisfied, you just end up coated and calibrated to crave more. You don't have to quit crisps, just stop making the worst ones your default. Next time you're in the aisle, ignore the classic vibe and read the numbers. If you want more quick label breakdowns like this, subscribe